let me give you a very basic idea about digital marketing first. So whenever we had companies available, the initial kind of marketing was the traditional marketing. We still use traditional marketing in terms of advertising over newspaper, advertising through brochure, pamphlets, maybe radio, maybe TV. So all these sort of marketings are the traditional ways of marketing, right? Now in last 10 years, digital marketing had come into picture, and starting from last 3 years, it's widely being accepted by all the companies across nations, right? So there was a time, like if I talk about 5, 10 years back, a company used to allot 80% of their budget to the traditional platforms, and then they only used to keep 20, 30% to the digital ones, right? When I say digital, we are talking about platforms like Google, we are talking about platforms like Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, or it could be Snapchat. So all the platforms that you see, which is being managed through the internet, comes under the digital marketing, right? There is one mid segment like OTT is something. OTT means platforms like Netflix, maybe Amazon Prime. They are not technically part of digital marketing. We call it OTT platforms, which is over the top
Mm,
platforms, right?
mm,
So they are neither part of traditional marketing network. They are neither the part of digital marketing network, but they are a separate network altogether,
mm,
right? Also, when companies had to advertise themselves through traditional ways, let's say if somebody wants to give an ad in Times of India, then he had to give the ad in the entire state, which means, so in Delhi we use Times of India. I'm not sure which is the highest publishing newspaper in your state, could be Kerala or Chennai. But let's say there's
mm,
one newspaper, then company had to advertise to the entire state if it's a
mm,
state-based newspaper, right? Also, if an ad is running in TV, then company had to advertise, and that ad will go to the entire country. Similarly, if it's a news, like if it's a radio, and then the radio goes to 5 states, then again the advertisement happens overall to all the 5 states. In that traditional ways, the advertisement cost was very high for all these companies, and the small and medium businesses cannot advertise through it, right? The only option that they were left was using the newspaper pamphlets and hoardings, right? So they had to advertise only through the small areas through digital market, sorry, through
mm,
traditional marketing.
mm,
Now, once digital marketing came into picture, we started getting a lot of control in digital space. For example, now we have the control that we can show our ads only to Chennai or maybe to certain pin codes of Chennai as well, right?
mm,
We also had this option to show the ads only to males versus maybe only to females. We only have the option to show the ads to different age ranges within a
mm,
network. So let's say if
mm,
my product is coaching classes for NEET aspirants, then I only have to target students from 16 till 24, let's say, then I can do that through digital marketing. In traditional marketing, when you advertise for a company, the advertisement goes to everyone in the market, right? So these are the major advantages that digital marketing came into the place. And the most important one is a person could advertise with a very minimum amount as well.
mm,
So let's say when companies advertise to maybe a channel or maybe a newspaper, they had to spend a very big amount in it, right? But now, if a company wants to start with only 500 rupees a day or maybe only 300 rupees a day, they have this flexibility to do that through digital marketing. It's just that if they advertise through a lesser amount, the advertisement reach will be lesser than what they advertised with a higher amount.
mm.
So I hope this part is quite clear to you.
It's
And I
clear.
would like
Thank you.
to, I always will be asking you if you have any questions about after
Mm,
for that topic. You can always discuss it.
sure.
Okay. Now let's come into the second part, which is the job options. I'm just going to cover it very quickly. So people
Mm,
who normally wants to get into a job, get into
mm,
a domain after digital marketing, they can either become a content developer. Number one, it could be text or maybe video or a graphical content. They can become a graphic designer. They can become a SEO analyst, maybe a PPC executive, a social media manager, again to manage the brands over social media. A
Mhm.
social media ads executive, person who manage ads. Social media manager could be a person who manage the organic content over social media as well. But when we say social media ad executive, this is a person who manage the advertisement part over social media networks only, but not the organic content.
Mhm.
Then a person could become an affiliate marketer. So let's say if he's very good in marketing, he can advertise products of Amazon, maybe on his network, that means digital
Mhm.
network. And through that advertisement, whenever
Mhm.
a sale happens through Amazon, he starts getting commission out of it. This entire thing falls under affiliate marketing.
Mhm.
Then a person can become a digital marketing consultant. A lot of companies look for digital consultants as well. So let's say you don't have a very practical knowledge of digital marketing, right? But you want to onboard a company for your businesses, right? In that case, you hire a consultant so that the consultant becomes your advisor, and then through his advice, through his skills, you onboard the right agency for your business, or maybe you take the right decision for your business, right?
Mhm.
Then a person can become a digital marketing trainer like me, right? And then a person could become either a video developer or maybe a project manager, right?
Mhm.
So there are a couple of profiles that people can get into once they start doing, or once they have a very good knowledge of digital marketing, right?
Okay.
Now, this knowledge does not come into a span of couple of months. It takes a good amount of practical knowledge to get into all these positions, right? Again, half of the out of these profiles also provide you options of working remotely, which is not the case in different industries. But in digital marketing, you easily get, at least if not all, then 3 to 4 job profiles are majorly happening remotely. For example, graphic
Mhm.
designer, video developer, these two profiles are majorly being done by people remotely. Okay. Then, apart from digital marketing, we are coming into the next topic, which is website creation and planning. Now, we are not getting into website creation part. We are not even going to learn how to create a website, but we should be knowing what are the requirements that we need for a website.
Mhm.
Reason being, for any business that we start, if we don't know how to develop a website or how the website get developed, then we
Mhm.
cannot have a control over the business. Now, let's say you are running a business, and then at any certain point, your website goes down.
Mhm.
Maybe you need to understand what's the reason behind that website which is going down. Is it a domain issue? Is it a hosting issue? Is it a server
Excuse
issue?
me.
Yeah,
Excuse me. Here, my window is showing to avoid an infinity mirror. Don't share your entire screen of browser window. Share just a tab. So, should I ignore it or stop pressing? What should I do? Sir?
you can click on
I think
ignore.
it's you.
Yeah,
Okay, that was infinity.
cool. So I was saying the base of entire digital marketing lies either on a website or an
Mhm.
application.
Mhm.
So both the things are like a shop in digital marketing space.
Mhm.
If we don't have a website, if we don't have an application, then we cannot think about advertising at all.
Mhm.
So it's like in offline domain, if you don't have a shop, of course, there's no point in getting the customers to your shop if your shop is closed, right?
Mhm.
So the first thing that we should be knowing is that what are the ways which control our shop, which means what are the ways which control our websites.
Mhm.
Okay. Now let's talk about these topics one by one. So we are talking about a domain. A domain could be any thing which starts with www and a name, followed to which we have .com, .in, and other top level domains.
Mhm.
So a domain is like a unique name which can be purchased from different domain providers. And whenever
Okay.
you buy a domain, it gets linked with your domain account. Every domain is backed by an IP address as well, which is again a unique IP address.
Mhm.
If you,
Excuse me, just a
yeah,
second. Will I get this notes only, or you share me the video? Both your information.
I
Sorry.
can share the video. I'm having this video
Okay.
recorded, so the video will be
Okay.
shared with you.
Thank you. Thank you,
Along
sir.
with
Please
it,
go
if
ahead.
you
Yeah.
want, I am having the notes as well,
Oh,
which
that'd
I
be
will
fine. Note is
also share with
note
you.
is fine. Note is fine, sir. That'd be great. Thank you.
Perfect. Right.
Oh, fine.
But
Go ahead, sir.
I just want you to keep questioning if you are missing anything in this video.
Mhm.
Because what happens
Okay.
when people think they will be going back and going through the notes, they really get
Mhm.
time to go through those notes, even though it
Mhm.
should be available to you. So
Mhm.
let's clarify the points which we are getting while walking through the video.
Okay, fine.
Perfect. So as I said, domain could be a unique name which you can purchase through internet, and that domain is going to have an IP address. And once you buy a domain, that's the identity of your website.
Mhm.
Okay. And if you want to buy any domain, you have a couple of websites available. This could be godaddy.com, this could be HostGator, or this
Mhm.
could be other websites as well. So what you simply have to do, you simply have to get into, let's say you write domain purchase,
Mhm.
then you should be getting these number of websites. You have GoDaddy,
Mhm.
you have
Mhm.
HostGator, you have Namecheap, you have BigRock,
Mhm.
and you can buy your domain from either of these websites. The average cost in India to buy a domain is very less. It comes at
Mhm.
around a cost of 400, goes till 1000 rupees for a normal domain,
Okay.
right? I'm also gonna write down the exercises here, which I think
Mhm.
you should be doing
Okay.
to get the practical knowledge of it.
Mhm.
So the one exercise could be buying a domain.
Mhm.
Domain SSL and hosting.
Okay.
Okay. Now after domain, so domain is just a name.
Mhm.
After buying the domain, we cannot do anything. Like we cannot utilize this domain until we have a space which connects our domain,
What is space, sir? What about what is meant by space? You said.
right? So let's say you have a shop anywhere in Chennai, then the address of that shop is a domain. So address is the identity of that shop.
Mhm.
That could can have a nameplate on it,
Mhm.
but you still have to buy the space where your shop will be available.
Okay.
So just because you have an address, you don't own the shop.
Mhm.
Neither you can keep anything in the shop,
Mhm.
right? So there are two things which goes hand in hand. One is buying the domain, which is the name of the shop, and second is the space wherein your products or maybe your services will be listed.
Okay.
In digital space, your content will be going within that shop.
Mhm.
So this shop is either a server. So let's say if you want to keep any files in a server, you can in fact have a server at your office. You can make it live 24/7, but normally that server, that space, that CPU is going to cost you higher. So what you do, you buy this server space from any third party company, and that third party company is keeping millions of servers with them, and they are selling at a cheaper rate to everyone in the market, right? Again, you can buy this space from companies like GoDaddy, HostGator, Hostinger. There are multiple service providers who provide the domains and the hosting,
Mhm.
right? So just by having the domain, your website does not go live. Also, just by having the hosting plan, again, your website does not go live. You need to have a name and a space, and you need to join the both.
Okay.
Once both these things are joined, then your website can go live.
Mhm.
Okay. So everything which happens, everything which gets created, all the files, all the text, all the templates that you see through the internet, all those things are available over the server.
Mhm.
Service is basically a space.
Okay.
We also call it the hosting space.
Mhm.
And nothing lies over the domain. Domain is
Mhm.
just a address to reach out that server. Without this domain, without this address, you cannot reach out the server. It's like without your shop address, nobody could reach to your shop or your home.
Yes.
Okay. Any confusion in it?
No, 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 please go ahead. Go ahead, sir. I
Perfect.
have some questions I'll ask at the end. Now, please go
Sure.
ahead.
Sure. So apart from these two things, we also have to buy a secured layer, which is available right on top of my screen. Do you see a lock on the top?
Yes.
We call it SSL.
Mhm.
This is secured socket layer. So whenever somebody comes into the hosting, let's say you are having a website and you don't have this lock available, then the website is not secured. So just to add an extra layer of security to the website, you add a SSL to it,
Mhm.
which is again say being sold by the same company.
Okay.
Okay. Now, once you have all these things available, a domain, hosting, and SSL, you are ready with your shop.
Mhm.
Where domain and hosting are compulsory, but SSL is highly recommended.
Okay.
So it's like domain and hosting is your shop and address. SSL is a lock. So without that lock, you can of course run the shop,
Mhm.
right? But whenever you open a shop, everyone will recommend you to always buy a very good lock for the shop, right?
Mhm.
So
Yes.
people don't just enter the shop without your permission, and nobody, you know, like takes anything out of the shop.
Mhm.
So SL is like a normal lock for the shop.
Okay.
Okay. Now, once you have all these things ready, it's all about creating that shop. So it's up to us what products or service we want to put in that shop. So we
Okay.
have two kind of shops in terms of digital domain. In fact, if you look at the market is widely divided into two segments. One is the service, and second is the product.
Mhm.
So let's say if you are providing a service of settling people into Germany or any
Mhm.
other country, that becomes a service.
Okay.
But at the same time, if you provide bed to them, mattress to them, and
Mhm.
maybe a couple of other products to them, that's a product,
Okay.
right? Anything which is technically tangible, can be seen,
Mhm.
can be hold, falls
Mhm.
under the product category.
Okay.
Anything that you take but may or may not be touched, that falls under the service segment. But
Okay.
most of the businesses that happen in the market falls under uh, product category, and to
Mhm.
manage that product, there is a service always, connected with that product. So let's say
Okay.
if you buy an iPhone, that's a product altogether, but yet you'll be taking the service from the Apple as a company.
Mhm.
So both these things goes hand in hand. So when you
Mhm.
think about starting a business, the first thing that you have to decide, that means building a shop, is either you are looking for a service or you are looking for a product.
Mhm.
Maybe to understand it better, I want to take one example from you, which could be the best way of service or maybe a product that you would like to promote online. So do you have
Mhm.
anything on your mind which we can promote?
Maybe German language training, for example.
Okay, so let's say you want to make a website for German language training. Now,
Mhm.
this is a service that we are trying to sell through the website,
Mhm.
right? Now, what we need to have the information about the German language training, number one, which could be available in the form of contents, that means text, and it has to be backed by some content on it. So maybe we want to put down the image of the institute, if that's an offline institute. Maybe we want to put down the images of our trainers.
Mhm.
Maybe we want to provide some information about the certificates that we provide, and
Mhm.
then other information about the language or the training that we provide, right?
Okay.
Normally,
Mhm.
this kind of website falls under, starts with the 2 3 page website till 10 15 pages website. Okay. Now, when it comes to designing the website, and when we have finalized what kind of website we are designing, then we have to decide in what language this website needs to be designed.
Mhm.
Now, the one language which is going to be available to all these websites, which is like a wood for any shop which you design, you will need a wood to design that shop. Similarly, in digital space, you need an HTML language available in that website.
Mhm.
So every website that you see over the internet is going to have the HTML as a language. Number one.
Okay. Mhm.
HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language. So
Mhm.
normally when you write HTML code, when a developer writes an HTML code, that code shows you some result looking at your screen,
Mhm.
which is backed by CSS.
Yes.
So HTML is like a wood for any shop, and CSS is like a maybe uh, a thing, or maybe paint on top of
Okay.
that wood. So
Mhm.
CSS makes your website looks good.
Mhm.
Once you combine HTML and CSS, your website is ready.
Okay.
So these are the two requirements that you need to have for any website.
Mhm.
One is HTML, second is CSS.
Mhm.
So now maybe you don't have a developer, neither you want to become a developer, but you need to understand that a website is backed by HTML and CSS.
Okay.
Now, HTML and CSS are like the basic elements of any website. People who learn these two languages, we call them static website developers.
Yes.
Okay. Now, once you know HTML and CSS, and you need some functions available on the website. Functions could be when somebody comes on the website, he fills up the inquiry form, and then the inquiry goes to your email ID.
Mhm.
This function has to be controlled by another language. The widely accepted language for this function is PHP.
Mhm.
You must have heard of the name PHP as well.
I was a programmer. I was a MATLAB
Oh,
programmer.
that's
I
great.
was.
That's
I
great.
was not anymore.
So maybe you can correct me if I'm saying something wrong about HTML, CSS,
I,
and
I
PHP.
I have some basics of Python, little bit of PHP, and I
Great,
was mostly MATLAB. So that was
great,
long back. My knowledge is zero today.
great.
Please go ahead.
Great. So now you know these are the three basic elements, three basic languages combining which we make a website functional.
Mhm.
Now there was a time when everybody has to create a website using these three languages as well.
Mhm.
Until the time person does not know the code, they cannot create a website.
Yes.
Then some companies, some very big names comes into the market and this is instead of making a website, why don't you pick our designs, pick our templates, put some content in our templates, and then your website is ready. And that seems to be magic at one particular time. Even a person like
Mhm.
me, a person like you who has not learned or not a website developer. So even if I want, I can create a website. That's totally fine.
Mhm.
But yet that does not make me a website developer. So
Mhm.
technical people like us who know very good understanding about the digital space, but yet they are not a website developers. They are not
Mhm.
the coders technically. Even they can make websites through these platforms. Now, the
Mhm.
first very popular website in the service domain is WordPress.
Mhm.
You must have heard of the name,
Yes. Yes. Yes.
which is a
But,
totally free platform. We call it
mhm.
CMS, which stands for Content Management System.
Mhm.
So what you do, you simply installs your WordPress platform into the hosting, into the shop, and then your entire shop is ready with a
Okay.
theme. So it's
Mhm.
like instead of asking a carpenter to put all those racks, all those work and do everything customizedly into the shop, you just buy a ready-made counter, a ready-made furniture, and then you simply install that in the shop.
Mhm.
So WordPress makes your life and job very easy, but at the same time it's not as customizable as a normal furniture will be when you ask a carpenter to design it as per your requirement,
Mhm.
right? So WordPress is always gonna be like a ready-made available template, but the best part is you have millions of templates available.
Mhm.
So you're not bound to choose only one design of WordPress. You can choose any of the designs which you like,
Mhm.
but at the same time it's difficult to modify those designs. But when you have hundreds of designs available, maybe you choose the best suitable design for your website and you simply install that design on the website. And largely these designs, in fact 80% of the designs are free, but additionally you have some paid designs as well.
Mhm.
Now once you install WordPress on the website, your website is ready. So let's say if you install one uh, template of WordPress on your hosting, your design in terms of everything is ready on your German language website. All you are left with is to put the content
Mhm.
and the image within the website,
Okay.
like the text and the image on the website. You
Mhm.
put text, you put image, and then your website is ready.
Okay.
Okay, now this is how we normally make a service-based website.
Mhm.
Just in case if you don't like WordPress, we have numbers of platforms available, which could be Joomla, which could be OpenCart. We have so many platforms available. Just in case if you don't like
Mhm.
WordPress, what WordPress is widely accepted by the market.
Okay. Mhm.
Now, let's say instead of selling these German courses online, you also decide that you want to sell out the German books,
Mhm.
and you also want people to purchase those books through the same website,
Okay.
and that also needs to have a payment gateway.
Mhm.
You can't do it in normal WordPress website.
Mhm.
Now, what you do, WordPress has introduced one plugin by the name of WooCommerce. You simply link WooCommerce with WordPress, and now your website becomes a e-commerce website.
Okay.
The moment your website has a function for someone to purchase the product, it becomes a e-commerce website. We call it payment, or e-commerce website is the technical name of these kind of websites. And
Mhm.
of course, these are the product-based website.
Okay.
Again, it's not necessary that you only take WooCommerce platform. There are a number of platforms available in the market. The one platform which I'm a very big fan of is Shopify platform. And the best part with Shopify is Shopify also provides you the hosting and SSL for free.
Okay.
So they have pioneered in terms of e-commerce product-based websites,
Mhm.
and they are only and only made for e-commerce websites as well.
Okay.
So even though
But
WordPress is free,
sorry, that means I just need to buy a domain from, for example, GoDaddy,
that's
and
right.
then I can go to Shopify. Then I get
Exactly.
bought. Okay.
Exactly. It's very simple, very clean, very easy to maintain. And they also
Mhm.
provide you a hosting and a SSL as well.
Okay.
Because in e-commerce websites, when you are having a good e-commerce website, you get a lot of people who comes on the website.
Mhm.
You need a very good hosting for e-commerce.
Mhm.
It becomes very difficult for people to purchase these kind of hostings by themselves. And Shopify is using the AWS hosting, which is the best hosting in these days right now. It does
Okay.
not, the website speed, the website bandwidth does not fall even if you have thousands and millions of customers on the website, which normally
Mhm.
happens when you buy a cheaper hosting from any company.
Okay.
Okay. So I guess now our website part is sorted. And as I
Yeah.
said, if you want to have practical knowledge on it, the best way could be, in terms of service, develop a WordPress site, and second, develop a Shopify site. Development
Anton,
of
I
every
can't hear you
Shopify site is
properly.
okay. Just one second. Is it audible now?
Hello. Hello.
Yeah.
Okay. Now.
Yeah. Am I audible now?
Yes. Yes. Sure.
Okay. Perfect. So, yeah. So I was talking about when we have to think about completing the website. If it's a service, we can think about having a WordPress website. If it's not a service, but if it's an e-commerce or a product-based website, we can simply make it through WooCommerce or Shopify.
Okay.
Now, the development of website through Shopify is totally free. They only ask you to pay when you launch this website, when you make this website go live.
Okay.
And you simply go to Shopify,
Mhm.
and then here are the pricing, which are typically starts with 1499 rupees, and then it's try Shopify free for 3 days. So it's normally free until you launch that website, you make that website go live.
Okay.
Okay, so you can try this plan for free as well. Okay, so I guess this part is clear. Any question in WordPress or the website creation planning?
It's all good.
It's
Thank
all
you.
good.
Go ahead, please.
Cool. Perfect. Now we have to talk about the difference between publisher and an advertiser.
Mhm.
So before we talk about a publisher and advertiser, we have to understand how would market work in the early days when we have a barter system. Barter system means, let's say you have rice, I have milk, you exchange, or we both exchange rice and milk with each other. That's how
Mhm.
the normal website started in the world, right?
Okay.
After that, we started having the bills, which means currencies in the form of gold, silvers. Someone had to start registering those currencies, start providing this currency in the market, and then people could exchange the goods via that currency.
Okay.
Same happens in the advertisement world.
Mhm.
So let's say you are a magazine owner,
Mhm.
or maybe you are a newspaper owner,
Mhm.
and I am Pepsi, Coke, Colgate, any big company, right? So what we used to do, I used to go to you and I ask you to print my banner, my advertisement on your newspaper,
Mhm.
right? And then in return, you pay some amount to me. Very simple, right? It's like you are having your property. That means maybe you are having your building, and then Airtel wants to put an hoarding on top of your building. So Airtel directly
Mhm.
comes to you, and then
Mhm.
Airtel takes your space, and then they start paying you some monthly amount.
Mhm.
So here, Airtel is basically an advertiser,
Mhm.
and you are a publisher, maybe property owner. In offline market, we call them property owners.
Okay.
In online market, we call them publishers.
Mhm.
So any company who publishes anything, they become publishers,
Publish. Mhm.
right? Newspaper owners are the publishers, magazine owners are the publishers. Even in the digital domain, everyone who is producing any content, these companies are the publishers.
Okay.
So even if ClickBuzz being a website, NDTV being a website, they are the news portals, maybe one of the top news portals of India, but yet they are the publishers.
Okay.
Now, there's a problem which happened in the market. It's like Pepsi felt it difficult to go to every publisher one by one.
Mhm.
So when you had only one publisher, it was easy for Pepsi as well to approach each of these publishers.
Mhm.
And also, it becomes difficult for a small company to approach Pepsi at the same time,
Okay.
because Pepsi, being a very big brand name, will not be
Mhm.
advertising on a small shop. Maybe
Okay.
when starts becoming big, when
Mhm.
shops starts becoming big, then the shops become small, and of course, Pepsi becomes a very big company. Now, Pepsi will only advertise majorly, in majority of the cases, over that big hoarding of mall only,
Mhm.
right? So small owners or maybe small companies find it very difficult. Same happens in the digital space. We started getting number of websites available in the market, number of apps available in the market, and then these websites and these apps had no advertiser through which they can earn.
Okay.
So let's say you start a website of German coaching, and
Mhm.
at the same time you see a lot of traffic coming on the website, on your website. Maybe you
Okay.
start publishing the German news as well.
Mhm.
Technically, we call them blogs if it's a content in form of text, or vlogs if it's a video income. Of course, if it's a video content,
Okay.
you see a lot of traffic coming in the website, reading about the German topic, German news, and yet you want to earn through it. Now, let's say you want to put Pepsi ad on your website.
Okay.
Do you think you can approach Pepsi and ask them to put an ad on your website? Is
No, not possible.
technically not possible, right? Maybe there are hundreds of people like you, thousands and millions of people like you, but Pepsi won't advertise on your website.
Mhm.
So what can you do? What options do you think you have in your mind if you want to make a money of being a publisher?
Oh, that's good question. I don't know.
Maybe you approach a local company. That means
Consultant.
maybe, yeah, a consultant. You ask that consultant, yeah, if you are providing consulting in Germany, why don't you provide your ads on my website? Because I'm having people who are interested in going Germany,
Yeah.
and then they get client through you.
Mhm.
We normally call them referral traffic, referral
Mhm.
clients which are going through your
Mhm.
website.
Mhm.
But think about the position when you have 50 consultants in India. Now, all those 50 consultants want to advertise on your website. What will you do then?
Okay, that's a good question. Okay. No, I don't know. I don't know any idea. Go ahead.
Right. So it's difficult. Like you can't
Mm,
entire day you cannot put one ad for half an hour, other ad for
mm,
next half hour. You can do
mm,
that. That's a bit difficult task for you.
mm,
Also, if you are having 50 consultants, then you have to keep one person onboarded who manages all these 50 consultants,
mm,
which is an additional cost for you.
mm.
You have to bill all those 50 consultants every month if you are billing them monthly, and you have to keep a calculation who makes the money, who does not make the money.
Okay.
Right. So it's like you need a person to manage all these 50 consultants.
Mm,
Now, one consultant who is sending people to Germany also will not be relying on you on your website.
mm.
He will think about, you know, placing his ad on similar websites as well.
Okay.
So he increase his students or his sources as well.
Mm,
So this problem is happening at both the places.
mm,
What if a vendor, which is an aggregator, comes
mm,
into the market, he talks to you, and he says, you don't have to worry about all these 50 consultants. You just provide me one ad slot. I will be giving you the entire money,
mm,
and you leave it on me whose ad I show on your website, whose ad I
okay.
won't show on your website.
Mm,
On top of it, not only 50, I will be placing ads from 500 different consultants,
okay.
which is going to give you an extra additional profits. You don't
Mm,
have to raise the bills to any of these people.
mm,
You will be getting an amount credited to your account without even raising a single bill.
mm.
Would you like that?
Yeah, that's fair.
Same, this aggregator went on these consultants, and he says you don't have to worry about placing your ad on all these 50 websites.
Mm,
You only want your ads to be placed on 50 websites.
mm,
I will do that on your behalf.
mm,
And this person, this company, goes to all those 50 publishers like you,
mm.
write an agreement, make a system through which the person's ad goes to good number of good number of publishers, not one. At the same
Mm.
time, publisher website starts getting good number of ads on this website.
Okay.
Now, any idea what this company name could be?
I don't know. Google maybe.
Yeah, we call it Google. So Google is one of the biggest advertisement aggregator in the world so far.
Mm,
Every website that you see in the market, whether it's ClickBuzz, NDTV, Truecaller, most of the applications that you have in the market in your phone, you will be seeing a banner on top right. If you look closely, it will say ads by Google.
yes.
So
Yes.
Google is one of the biggest aggregator
Mhm.
in the display space. We call this entire network as display network.
Okay.
Why display network? Because when somebody comes on the website, an ad gets displayed to that person.
Mhm.
So it's technically called as display network, and all these websites comes under Google Display Network.
Google Display Network.
Google Display
G-
Network,
okay.
GDN. We call it GDN as a short
GDN.
form.
Mm,
Now, the tool on which a publisher had to go and sign up with, it's called Google AdSense.
mhm,
So if you have a website, you don't have good traffic on the website, yet you want to make the money out of it, you simply get into adsense.google.com,
mm,
pull a code out of that account, put a
mm,
code into your account,
mm,
and depending on the traffic comes on the website, depending on number of people who sees ad on the website which comes through Google, you get paid every month.
mm. Okay.
The earning tool for a publisher is called as AdSense.
Okay. Excellent.
Any question here?
No, no, it's good. Good.
On top of it, Google did a very great thing. This is what a kind of magic for Google. Three people made a company, which was a video company. One of the founder name is Javed, as if I'm right. Google bought this growing video company from those people, which becomes YouTube.
YouTube. Yeah.
And there was a time when companies like Meta Cafe was quite popular.
Mm-hmm.
Websites like Dailymotion was quite popular.
Mm-hmm.
Now, nobody stands in front of YouTube at all.
Mm-hmm.
YouTube is far ahead than all these companies.
Yes.
Now, earlier, publisher had to at least have a website.
Mm-hmm.
This time, Google says, if you are a publisher, if you're a video content developer, you don't even need to have a website. You
Okay.
simply create a YouTube channel, you upload your content on the YouTube channel, everything is free, and after uploading this content, if you allow me to advertise on your website, which means on your channel, on your videos, you get paid every month.
Okay.
And then you start seeing popular YouTubers in the market,
Yes.
and you won't believe YouTube is even in India makes millions of dollar every month, serves jobs to millions of people every month. People don't even believe that YouTube could be an earning source, but with YouTube, people earn more than a normal person.
I think so. I think there are a lot of people really earning. Otherwise, why they are spending their lifetime in YouTube channels?
Of course, of course. So if you ask me, so let's say I have a habit as well. Nowadays, people who are into any skill domain where through which they provide any skill, they keep on producing the content through YouTube. I do the same. It's just that my content is not being monetized. I am having this advertisement options off because I don't want people to get distracted by the ads which is coming on top of my videos. But at any point whenever I want, I can enable the monetization on my channel as well.
Okay.
So I think if you are a trainer, if you are a college, if you are an institute, it's very good to have a YouTube channel in place and then keep publishing the content over it.
Mm.
And then after some time, in fact, after 10 years, a new company comes into the market by the name of Facebook, of course,
Mm.
owned by Mark Zuckerberg.
Mhm.
And this becomes one of the major social platform in the world, as we know,
Mm.
Facebook.
Mm.
And later on, the same company uh, took some time to beat companies like Google Plus,
Mm.
companies like Orkut, which was again a
Mm.
Google-based social media platform. And like Google bought YouTube, this company bought Instagram.
That is Facebook.
Facebook bought Instagram, right? And then they had two major rivals of Google in
Mm.
the social media space. We call
Yes.
these two platforms as social media platforms.
That's one. Mhm.
However, the Google's network, the one that we have talked about, was just a display network.
Mhm.
Technically, video network also comes under the same display network, but if you divide it, what Google is a like market holder for the display network. At the same time, Google is market holder of the video network as well.
Okay.
But on contrary, Facebook is the key market player for the display networks,
Mhm.
having Facebook,
And
Instagram,
Instagram.
and
Mhm.
additionally, we don't call that social network, but yes, Facebook has also purchased WhatsApp after some years down the line. Now, Facebook is also having three very big platforms. In fact, Meta is having three platforms. Facebook has renamed itself from Facebook to Meta, being an umbrella company. And then they are having three major stakeholders. It starts with Facebook, Instagram, and then WhatsApp.
Mhm.
The two other social media, popular or the top social media websites that you have is LinkedIn,
Mhm.
which is owned by Microsoft now.
Mhm.
And then we have Twitter.
Okay.
Any idea who has highest stake in Twitter now?
The billionaire, Tesla owner, what is his name? I forgot.
Elon Musk. None other than Elon Musk. Right. So we don't have to talk about Twitter a lot. So now we know combining all these things would have completed the digital space.
Mhm.
But then we had one more network left to discuss. Any
One
idea
more
what is
network.
the network which we have not discussed? So we have discussed about the video network. We have
Mhm.
discussed about the display network. We have discussed
Mhm.
about the social media network.
Mhm.
Any idea which network is left to be discussed?
I don't know. Maybe
I'm gonna
mouth
I'm gonna
propaganda.
I'm gonna
I don't know.
give you the top names.
Yeah.
One is Yahoo,
Mhm.
Bing,
Mhm.
Baidu,
Search
Yandex,
engines.
and Google. So we call it search network.
Mhm.
So the last network which we have not discussed is the search network, of course.
Mm-hmm.
But in search networks, you don't have the small players in the market. You don't have publishers. You don't have, at least you don't have publishers. So most of the search engines, majorly of the stake is again being held by Google.
Mm-hmm.
At least in India, Google consumes 95% or even more of that percent of searches.
Okay.
When I talk about China, it's Baidu because of the language difference. In
Mm-hmm.
Russia, you have Yandex.
Mm-hmm.
In America and UK, you have uh, Google at 70%. The
Mm-hmm.
numbers are not exactly correct. I'm just giving you a range.
Mm-hmm.
Followed to which you have Bing and Yahoo.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a time when Yahoo was the market leader in the
Mm-hmm.
search engine space.
Mm-hmm.
But then slowly and gradually, it's the same time when Yahoo Mail was the market player. Over email, Google beated Yahoo and then launched one of the top used products in the email industry named as Gmail,
Mm-hmm.
and then very highly beated MSN, or I will say Hotmail, by
Mm-hmm.
Microsoft again, and then beated Yahoo as well. In the search engines, Google beated Bing and Yahoo.
Mm-hmm.
Then Bing and Yahoo got combined to give some challenge to Google, but yet they are far left behind as compared to Google.
Mm-hmm.
And now what Bing did, that means Microsoft did, Bing collaborated with OpenAI's. One of the
Mm-hmm.
companies is like ChatGPT. Microsoft
Ah, okay.
invested in ChatGPT, and now
Mm-hmm.
Bing is trying to integrate that ChatGPT into their search engine. And the
Okay.
idea is to beat or put Google behind.
Okay, good question. So I have a question. So since you mentioned, what is actually this Chat GPT? I'm seeing that everywhere right now. It's a competitor to Google. In what sense Chat GPT is a competitor to Google? If we can tell in short.
So technically, ChatGPT is not a direct competitor to Google. It's like Facebook. When Facebook launched Facebook, that was not a direct competitor to Google, right? But when you are starting or having any property, even if it's a small property in the sales, say in the same industry, at some extent, when you are widely accepted, you becomes a challenger to everyone,
Mm,
right? So to understand ChatGPT, it's like we are living in a world where from last 10 years we started getting some automatic responses.
mm,
So it's like when you write an email, it's a normal email.
mm.
When you schedule that mail with the email scheduler, where the mail goes directly, it becomes an automatic email, right? Now, let's say somebody replies to your email
Mm,
and you are having an auto reply which says if somebody replies this, let's say you have 15, 20 different lines. If somebody
mm.
says yes, your email shoots an auto reply to this person.
Okay.
Then it becomes automatic email system,
Mm,
right?
mm,
Now, let's say you put some intelligence over it.
mm.
Intelligence means you are having some system lined up to it. And this
Okay.
time, this system does not reply only by selecting out of these 20 questions, but now this system thinks about it, analyzes it, and then the system decides out of these 20 options that you have, which option the system should choose,
Okay.
depending on the message that comes from that end.
Mm,
And you give a artificial intelligence to the system.
okay.
This becomes the power of artificial intelligence. Now,
Okay.
this system, this kind of system could be generated, could be lined up with any kind of process, with any different kind of, I will say, services. And then same system, same kind of a small things were happening online. And then Chat GPT was working. In fact, OpenAI is the company name, which was working from
Mm,
last 5, 6 years. And then
mm,
recently they have launched one of their program by the name of Chat GPT. They have other platforms as well,
mm.
wherein when you ask this platform to do anything from the database, from that intelligence, it delivers the result to you.
Okay. For example, if I wanted to ask, if I ask Chat GPT about digitation or digitation, your company,
Hmm.
what answer I'll get?
So technically, that's not the work of
Okay.
education.
Then mm,
Technically, this is the work of Google, right?
Google. Okay.
So Google is like, so first, before understanding ChatGPT, we have to understand Google. Google
Mm,
is like a repository of website.
mm,
When you ask anything to Google, Google provide you list of websites available.
Okay.
Right? You don't directly things at Google. You get into the website, and then you read the information through that website.
Yeah.
Where this website is backed by a source as well.
Mhm.
For example, if it's my website, then you are get to see my name or my blueprints to that website.
Mhm.
You would know that you are reading this information either through Wikipedia, through Facebook, or through my website.
Mhm.
So Google does not provide you the data by itself. Google is just
Okay.
a repository of information, like an indexing,
Okay.
right? However, when you ask the same question to ChatGPT, education, firstly, ChatGPT does not provide you the result. This ChatGPT is having their own unknown repository, which is not disclosed. And from that repository, ChatGPT directly provides you an answer. It's like you ask anything to Amazon AI, or maybe Google AI, like the small devices that
Mhm.
Google has and Amazon have launched,
Mhm. Mhm.
right?
Like
So,
that. Okay.
right,
Got it.
but that's not the work of GPT. GPT's work is not to provide you an answer. Google is already doing that.
Mhm.
GPT's work is to provide you an intelligent answer. Let's say you ask ChatGPT to write an article on cow. Then ChatGPT writes an article on cow. Google does not do that.
Okay. Okay.
You ask
If somebody asks ChatGPT, okay, teach me German, will they teach or not?
the ChatGPT is going to teach German.
Yeah. Seriously.
That's right.
Okay. Then it's a challenge.
And this is just the beginning.
Okay.
The power of AI is that AI starts learning the things by itself.
Mhm.
So every day, every single hour, when we get a lot of questions to AI starts learning and building itself by its own.
Mhm.
Where the magic lies.
Mhm.
So Google is not learning anything by itself. People are just
Mhm.
providing the websites to Google, and Google is delivering the indexes or
Mhm.
the result to the users who are pulling this information.
Okay.
Besides, here, ChatGPT is learning from these questions and trying to give a better result to people.
Okay. Fair. Okay.
Right. Talking about how it's a competitor to Google. So let's say if ChatGPT and alone it's not a competitor to Google, but then Microsoft has invested in ChatGPT. Bing is a direct competitor of Google, right?
Mhm.
Bing has already combined ChatGPT or AI with their domain. So if I simply go to bing.com, I don't know how when did you go to Bing?
Mhm.
Can you see that? Introducing the new Bing. Ask real
Okay.
questions, get complete answers.
Mhm.
So Bing has already integrated the AI to their search
Okay.
platform. Look at over here on the right.
Mhm.
I can suggest a three-course menu with a chocolate dessert, anything.
Okay.
And I'm in the waiting list.
Mhm.
Introducing the new Bing, your AI-powered answer engine.
Okay.
And Google has not started doing this so far.
Okay.
Google is working on i- adding their own AI as well. But
Mhm.
then before Google launches anything, Google wants to test it at a very high level.
Mhm.
Because Google, being the market leader, does not want to put their image on a stake. Bing can do that because Bing is a very small company. Even if
Mhm.
something goes wrong with Bing, being a search engine, people don't hardly really care about it.
Mhm.
But Google is a big name in the market. So before
Okay.
launching anything, before adding any AI to their system, Google has to
Mhm.
do a lot of research and maybe a lot of testing on it. And then only when they're 100% sure, then only they will launch it.
Yes.
Or maybe they put it in the background. The day they realize it's now beating their search engine, then only they integrate the AI tool with the search engine.
Okay.
But Google has already seeing it as a threat.
Mhm.
As far as I know, Google has already raised a red alert in their company that we have to work on the AI.
Mhm.
Cool. So here we completed publishers,
Mhm.
advertisers, and
Mhm.
advertisement networks. We talked about
Okay.
search, display,
Mhm.
and video
In
networks.
video. Mhm.
Right. Then a very small introduction about the. So we are about to complete this introduction of traditional marketing, and
Okay.
then we can have a 5 minute Q&A session. So let's say if you want to ask anything about the introduction, then we can talk about it.
Okay.
Before we get into that session, two more topics which are left to be discussed. One is
Mm-hmm.
organic versus paid marketing. So any
Mm-hmm.
marketing in which you don't spend any money is an organic marketing. Any marketing which is an advertisement based or an amount based marketing is a paid marketing. For example, you simply upload your content over LinkedIn, over Facebook, over Twitter. You tweet over Twitter. That's a marketing if you are doing it for a company, but that's an organic marketing.
Okay.
You are not paying anything just
Mm-hmm.
for posting this information over these social media platforms.
Mm-hmm.
Similarly, when you publish your website on Google, it comes under the SEO, which is search engine optimization. It still remains as organic marketing.
Mm-hmm.
But the moment your website gets advertised over Google, it becomes a paid marketing through Google
Mm-hmm.
Ads.
Okay.
The moment your post gets advertised over Facebook, it becomes a Facebook ad.
Mm-hmm.
So any kind of promotion that you are just doing normally by uploading the content over social media, Google, YouTube maybe, that's the part of the organic marketing.
Okay.
The other name of organic marketing could be natural marketing.
Mm-hmm.
And then at the other side, we have paid marketing, which is also called as inorganic marketing or sponsored promotion.
Okay.
So just to draw a simple line in between, anything which is happening for free, it's organic. Anything which is happening paid, it's paid. Simple.
Okay.
Any question in it?
So,
Cool. Now the last one which we have to talk about is sales funnel,
mm.
where we have
Just 1 second. Can you give an example of a paid marketing, or just give an example? Who's a leader in this sector?
so here we have all the modules of digital marketing. If
Okay,
I talk
fine.
about Google Ads, it's a paid
Mhm.
marketing.
Okay, fine, perfect.
If I talk about social media marketing, organic, it's an organic
It's organic.
marketing.
Mm-hmm.
SEO is an organic marketing.
Mm-hmm.
Social media marketing paid is a paid
Okay.
marketing, which means Facebook and LinkedIn ads.
Mm-hmm.
Or it could be Facebook, Insta,
Mm-hmm.
and LinkedIn ads.
Okay.
Google Analytics is not a marketing platform, it's a tool to analyze our marketing activities. Search Console is a tool, GTM is a
Mm-hmm.
tool, Merchant Center
Mm-hmm.
account is a tool, email marketing is a organic marketing.
Okay.
If you are doing it through MailChimp, then okay, technically it stays as organic marketing.
Okay.
And then you do certifications and media planning, which is the last part in these modules.
Okay.
Okay. Now coming to the last topic of the day, which is sales funnel. So
Mm-hmm.
basically, you have to understand why we have the sales funnel, what are the requirements of it, and what are the segments of a sales funnel.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say you want to launch your book. You write a book
Mm-hmm.
about the culture of Germany,
Mm-hmm.
and you want to launch it in South India, anywhere in South India. Technically, how do you do that? How would you like to do it?
I want to publish or sell my book. What do you mean?
Right. So,
I
so
want to
what's the
sell.
process? What's the process of doing it?
Once again, I'm not clear with the question. Once
So I'm
again, sir.
saying if you want to write a book over German culture,
Mm-hmm.
and then you want to sell it, what would be the process of selling this book?
Okay, first of all, I have to write the book, I have to collect
Hmm,
information, and okay, I made the book ready, for example. No?
that's right.
And when it comes to selling, is yeah, I need to find dealers.
Right.
Yeah, who are the leading book leaders or who can sell this thing on bulk quantities,
Right.
and I need to negotiate a price with them.
Hmm,
Then, as per the, I need to give free stocks, maybe,
hmm,
and then if the book is clicking, then I need to supply. It's mainly dealers.
right. Right. So technically, the book industry does not work in that way. The book industry is
Mhm.
first you tie up with a publisher, a book
Yes.
publisher. Thus, Penguin is a book publisher.
Yes.
You talk to Penguin, you have a meeting with them, and you tell them that you want to write a book on this topic.
Mhm.
If Penguin agrees with your idea of writing this book,
Mhm.
then you start writing the book with this contract, and you have a percentage in it. The percentage could be normally it starts with 50 percentage,
Mhm.
where if this book runs in the market, then Penguin will be keeping the 50% revenue and passing
Mm.
on the remaining 50% revenue to you.
Okay.
But then maybe you are very new in the market, nobody knows you. The
Mm.
chances are Penguin will not be signing up a contract with you because
Mm.
that's a big publisher, book
Mm.
publisher, in fact. Then you
Okay.
have to start visiting the other book publishers as well, maybe the smaller ones. So that's how a normal
Mm.
marketing industry goes.
Okay. Mm.
This is the organic way of writing the book.
Mm.
Now, let's say you somehow crack your deal with Penguin, you convince them,
Mm.
they like
Mm.
your idea, you explain them why you want to write this book, then Penguin will already be having their book centers in the market.
Mm.
So
Mm.
if you publish a book through Penguin, then the chances are at least your books will be sold through Penguin book centers easily. They would be having their own website as well. They would be having their own shops as well. They go in major of the book fairs as well. So at least
Mm.
your book will be getting sold
Okay.
in at a good number of places.
Mm.
And you know what every business needs? Every big business needs initial customers.
Mm.
Once it reaches to 500 to 1000 customers, and then if had a real potential in it, the product, book is also a product, can get
Mm.
success in the market. But
Mm.
if you are not able to reach to these 1000 people, and even if the book is good, then you can't do anything about it.
Okay.
You need to connect with someone so at least your book reaches to the audience who reads the book. Maybe
Mm.
not lakhs or millions of audience, but at least it reaches to 1000 to 10,000 audience. Right. So
Mm.
that's how normal organic marketing happens.
Mm.
But now let's say you are uncertain about it and you want to make a marketing plan of it. That when you launches
Okay.
the book, or maybe
Mm.
Penguin wants to make this marketing plan with you when you launches
Mm.
the book, and then it should be getting the right marketing for
Mm.
that book. Maybe it's easy if you're not a content writer or not a book writer, maybe you are a singer. So what you do?
Mm.
This time you might have seen very new singers where the songs are being launched at T series. T
Yes.
series
Yes.
is the same thing in the
Yes.
singing
Product.
industry.
Mm.
Same thing is happening over Shopify.
Mm.
Not at that level, but yeah, Shopify is doing the same. Sorry, not Shopify,
Mm.
but Spotify.
Mm.
Spotify does the same thing. They also finds that the talents from the market, the singing
Mm.
talents, and they provide a platform and they ask them
Mm.
to submit their songs on Spotify,
Mm.
right? But now T Series does one more thing. Or maybe when you see any movie coming through Yash Raj banner, let's say Yash Raj is
Mm.
now a film production company. So what they do before the launch of that movie,
Mm.
before the launch of that song, before the launch of that book, they create some awareness in the market.
Mm.
Awareness like Shah Rukh Khan is coming with Pathan after 1 year.
Mm.
That's an awareness phase.
Mm.
Before the launch of any car in the market, the car starts creating the awareness in the market. Maruti is gonna
Okay.
come with this car in next maybe in year 2023.
Mm.
They start giving big advertisement of those cars in newspapers.
Mm.
They
Mm.
start putting those cars within the auto expos everywhere in the country, maybe at the
Mm.
globe level as well.
Mm.
They start, this is the awareness phase.
Okay.
So normally it depends, it changes from product to product, of course, also at the amount of the company, how much amount the company is having. But
Mm.
then before launching the product, the basic idea is to at least spread some awareness about the brand.
Mm.
Even till the, even if you see a Haldiram, maybe which is a sweet shop, majorly
Mm.
popular in North India, even if
Mm.
you see a small shop which is being opened up in a very local market, the shop
Mm.
owner also starts putting some hoarding about the shop even before the launch of that shop.
Okay.
We call it awareness phase.
Mm.
So people get to know that something is coming in the market.
Mm.
It should not happen the day he opens the shop, there's no customer at his shop. The
Yes.
day
Yes.
book launches, there's no one to read the book. The day movie launches, there's no one to fulfill the theater seats.
Mm.
And it happens in the market who don't do these branding campaigns.
Mm.
If you look at the market picture, normally companies keep 10 to 15% of their budget in advertisement and promotion.
Mm.
So if you will see the data, which I normally see, 100 crore movie easily spends 10 to 15 cr on promotions
Mm.
of their movies.
Okay. Mm.
They do these promotions on newspaper, on channels. They use their trailer
Mm.
or movies as well. They pay to other
Mm.
production houses as well, and through this they do a massive city campaigns as well, where they
Mm.
send all these stars into different cities so that they
Mm.
they do their promotion over there.
Okay.
So the initial phase, this is the standard phase. So every company should be following the same thing. It's
Mm.
up to the company whether they follow it or not. You will be finding a lot of companies, a lot of songs who are coming out without an awareness, maybe because of the lot of
Mm.
the lack of budgets. But if they
Mm.
have good amount of budgets, they try to follow this process.
Okay.
Make sense? Once this awareness is done in the market, then companies also do the engagement activities.
Mm.
Engagement would be like when a shop opens. Normally, I'm not saying this happens in every shop case. They
Mm.
give 1 day free drive.
Mm.
We call it inauguration day,
Okay.
where they offer free suites of that shop.
Mm.
Similarly, when a car launches in the market, even before the launch, they start giving the test drives of that car.
Mm.
I'm talking
Okay.
about before the launch.
Mm.
Before the launch of the movie, they start delivering free songs.
Mm.
Shah Rukh Khan comes on the Twitter and then discuss about the movie with everyone. They are doing the
Mm.
engagement activity. So
Mm.
people engages about this movie now. So the first
Mm.
phase of any campaign is the awareness campaign. The second phase is engagement campaign, and the third one is the launch
Mm.
opening. The day
Okay.
when your product or the service it starts getting sold.
Mm.
The reason why we call it a funnel is because with every business, the audience stays like this, which
Yes.
looks like a funnel. So in
Mm.
the engagement phase, you usually, in the awareness phase, you usually spread awareness with everyone in the market.
Mm.
But then everyone is not gonna purchase the car. Everyone is not
Yes.
gonna
Yes.
like the movie. Everyone is
Mm.
not gonna take the test drive.
Mm.
Then you make your funnel a little longer and you come into the engagement phase
Yes.
where you give the things on trial.
Mm.
Maybe you start releasing the promo of those movies, which is the engagement phase. So people engages with
Mm.
a small piece of content of your movie.
Mm.
You start releasing the background scenes of those movies, and eventually you have a launch date where you have the least traffic, but that's the actual people who purchases your product from the market. That's a
Mm.
conversion phase.
Okay.
That's how a normal market campaigning happens.
Mm.
You will realize it when you will think about it, about the
Okay.
brand, about the movies, about the books, how it was launched in the
Mm.
market. Normally people who don't uh, you know look this advertisement space closely, they don't care about it. Anything is
Okay.
just a launch to them. But when you
Mm.
look at very closely, you will realize that every brand is actually following this same funnel. They are spreading awareness, they are spreading engagement, they are getting conversions.
Mm.
Sometimes you are not the part of that awareness customer.
Mm.
Sometimes you're not the part of that engaged customer. So maybe you don't know
Mm.
about it. But
Mm.
normally brand knows which customer they have to target,
Okay.
right? So now
So
this
that is
company,
called sales funnel. Okay.
yeah, we call it sales funnel, where we
Mm.
have branding, engagement,
Mm.
and
And
conversion, which
conversion.
is
Conversion.
closing
Mm.
phase, right?
Yes. Yes.
So here we complete our basic introduction of digital marketing, right?
Mm.
Followed to which now we have the training modules, which starts with Google Ad,
Mm.
which is having different campaigns. Followed to which we
Mm.
have social media marketing,
Mm.
SEO, technically
Mm.
called as search engine optimization,
Mm.
social media ads. It starts with Facebook, Instagram,
Mm.
LinkedIn, Twitter, and other ad platforms. And then
Yeah.
we have multiple measurement tools to
Mm.
analyze how the marketing is happening through these
Mm.
platforms.
Okay.
Eventually, at the end of these modules, we have the Google Meta ad certification.
Yeah.
And then media planning is how
Mm.
do we strategize any business to advertise in the network.